You are tuned to Moorland Community Radio on frequency modulation 94.8 MHz and shortwave 7.400 MHz. Leeds Relay, broadcasting from the bell tower of St. Bartholomew's in Armley. My name is Thomas Jarvis. I used to be a sound engineer and the weekend rugby dad. Now I'm the bloke keeping the station on air with a kettle, a diesel generator, and a head full of lists. If you can hear me, you are not alone. Keep your radios near heat, keep batteries warm in a pocket, and keep the antenna vertical. We will stay on until the fuel meter kisses empty. We do not intend to let that happen. We have moved the transmitter up the stairs to the bell chamber. The dipole is slung along the scaffolding on the north face. If you are in Wortley and Holbeck and it sounds scratchy, nudge your set a handspan to the left and aim it toward the church spire. If you are on a crystal set or an old wind-up, you are a legend. Give the dynamo a gentle spin every few minutes so the capacitor does not drop out. Welcome to the morning block. Not much of a morning, to be straight with you. The thermometer on the sill has frozen under its own frost, and the glass is fogged from my breath. The tea in my mug has a skin on it I could tile a bathroom with. That is fine. We carry on. Outside, the wind is laying down a steady rasp across the headstones. Inside, we have blankets on the floor, foam panels on the windows, and a candle by the logbook so I can read names without torchlight giving our position to chancers on the street. We have rules. We keep calm. We share real details. We cut nonsense at the knees. This is the United Kingdom, in case anyone has tuned in from the near continent on shortwave and wonders why a bloke is talking about tea while the world is icing over. You are hearing a community station in West Yorkshire. We are sitting inside a real stone church built before the first steam engine. The bells are wrapped in old quilts. The altar is stacked with flour sacks that we are not touching. The choir stalls are full of sleeping bodies with wool hats over their eyes. We are a city used to drizzle and football rows and late buses. We are not built for a new ice age, yet here we are. I will start with the Met Office sketch that came in last night by couriers from the council bunker under Marion House. The Arctic air mass is locked, the jet stream is bent south like a stubborn spine, and the Atlantic overturning current has stalled. That last bit is not official language, but you get it. Warm water is not coming up as it did. The North Sea is a slab. Fishing boats are fixed in ice from Scarborough to Hartlepool. The Humber has floes. The Forth is dull with drift ice. The Irish Sea is throwing slush against the Cumbrian coast. Temperature bands across the country are sitting 20 degrees below any winter a grandparent can remember. Wind chill will take exposed flesh in minutes. Do not mess about. Cover your nose. Cover your ears. Move with a mate if you can. Fuel, here is the truth, not the rumor. We have a working diesel generator in the churchyard, an old Lister clattering under a pallet shelter that Sam Cobb from Armley Mills built with a crowbar and bad language. We run it light for the transmitter and the charging table. We shut it off between blocks. We have a small tank that will last us a handful of days if we are careful. If you have diesel in a safe container and you want to help, you bring it in daylight with 2 friends and you shout up from the gate. We have a ledger. We record every liter. If we live through this, we will make it square. If we do not, the ledger will tell anyone who finds us that strangers saved this city. Right, we open the lines. Handheld transceivers are a bit snow-deaf this morning, so we are prioritizing wired calls on the old copper. If you are calling from a landline, bless the souls who decided to keep those cables in the ground. First call, line 1. You are live. Morning, Tom. Mark Atkinson here. I drive the gritters. Or I did. The depot at New Wortley is locked solid. We have salt, but the augers will not start. I'm calling from a barn outside Gildersome. I have 3 lorry drivers on cots, and 2 diesel space heaters that drink fuel like sailors. The drifts on the road toward the motorway are higher than the cab roof. I am not exaggerating. I stuck the shovel in, and it disappeared. Anyone heading east, forget it. You will bury your bumper in a breath. Cheers, Mark. You have saved someone from being a headline. If you are listening near Gildersome and you have a tractor, run it at home for heat. Do not waste fuel plowing a neighbor's fantasy shortcut. If you have a spare bale of straw or a drum of red diesel for Mark's heaters, tape a big note on it and leave it on the post by the lay-by behind the old garden center. He knows the one, no loitering. Do not queue. Pick and drop and move. Next line. Line 2, go ahead. It is Hannah, from the ambulance base at St. James's Hospital. We have moved most of the patients into the old chapel because the main oxygen line cracked. We are running concentrators off a generator that is sulking in the cold. We need blankets, hats, socks, anything. We are melting ice in a catering kettle. If anyone is nearby with a proper camping stove, we could boil water faster and we can keep hands warm while we wait for the engineer. Understood, Hannah. St. James's Hospital, chapel, door is watched. Do not arrive alone. If you are a pensioner with a cupboard full of knitted hats that never found a head, this is your moment. Stick them in a bag, roll with 2 neighbors, and head to St. James's in daylight. Straight line, no detours. No one takes money. You hand it over and you come home. If anyone tries to intercept you, walk away and come back later. Not worth a bruise. We will repeat this call every quarter hour. Stay brave, Hannah. Tell the old lads on the ward that Leeds is listening. While we are on hospitals, the National Health Service dispatch desk that used to sit in a warm room is now 2 clipboards and a lad in a scarf by a stairwell. Go easy on them. If you are calling for an ambulance, say your postcode clearly. Say the nearest big road or landmark. Say whether you can walk, and say whether you have a solid roof overhead. If you can move on your own legs with a mate to the nearest refuge, do it. If you cannot, say that and stay put. If your house has a coal fire, put a pan of water on it to humidify the air. Dry air hurts lungs. Keep a wet cloth near your face if the cold bites too hard. Personal moment for a second. My wife Sarah is across town in Burley with our 2 kids in the old terrace we rewired last spring. The decision to split was simple. My skills keep this transmitter alive. Her skills keep 2 children warm and fed. We have a rope of words we throw across the city at set times on the handhelds. We speak for 30 seconds. We hang up. We do not waste battery. She said last night that the school on Cardigan Road had opened the doors and moved the benches to make sleeping aisles. She said someone had set up a library in the lunchroom with picture books and old paperbacks. She said the kids were pretending the cold was a game of statues. She did not cry while she said it. She gets on with it. If you are looking after children, here is a small script that a teacher from Hyde Park phoned in and asked me to share for anyone huddled in a corridor. Read it aloud in a steady voice. We are in a fort we built together. The walls are strong because we made them strong. Outside, grown-ups are fixing broken things. Inside, our job is to be kind and quiet and smart. We will take turns talking. We will play a game where we name countries that begin with a letter I call out. We will drink water and eat crackers. When the wind talks at the windows, we will listen to our breathing and count to 20. We will count again if we need to. Quick safety list. Ventilation. If you are burning anything in a closed space, make a small airflow. Crack a window the width of a finger, even if it hurts to do it. People are dying in sheds because they trusted a silent heater. Carbon monoxide has no smell. It will end a room quietly and without drama, not on our watch. Tape a cloth to the bottom of the doors to block drafts, but give smoke and gas a path out. If your breath feels woolly and the room feels sleepy, stand up, open a door, breathe real air, and move your stove outside. No pride, live. Right. Supplies. The Leeds Kirkgate Market team is running a ration table at the south entrance between the phone boxes. The rule is simple. You queue in daylight, you show a utility bill or any proof you live within walking distance, you take a small bag with oats, dried pulses, and powdered milk, and you go home. No pushing. The lads with the orange vests are volunteers. Speak to them like you would speak to your auntie. There is a team at the Hunslet Morrison's car park baking bread and barbecue drums using flour from a bakery wholesaler. The bread is heavy and flat, and it will get you through the day. Take what you need. Do not take someone else's breakfast. I have a note here from a farmer outside Tadcaster. He has a supply of wrapped hay and a small herd that he is moving to a brick factory because the sheds have collapsed under snow weight. He does not want help lifting bales. He wants someone with a working chainsaw who knows how to sharpen a chain, and someone who can free a frozen gate without snapping the hinges. If that is you, you meet him at the old lay-by, where the road bends by the creamery. 2 in, 2 out. No extras, no gawkers. He is a decent man. He has a shotgun. He does not want to use it. Please respect that and do not show off. We will do names now, because names keep us human. Roll call from handwritten slips shoved under the vestry door in the night. Maya and Joseph on Domestic Street are warm by a coal fire and willing to share 2 mugs of soup at dusk with a quiet neighbor. Gareth, the retired signalman at Holbeck rail sidings, can explain how to bleed a radiator and has the key to a tool chest. Tap twice on the steel door. The Singh family at Beeston have a working tandoor in the backyard and will bake flatbread for 2 elderly homes if someone brings flour and keeps watch for an hour while it cooks. This is the city I know, rough round the edges, good in the middle. Keep doing this. National picture for anyone on the skip who can hear us from afar. The British Broadcasting Corporation long-wave service is off much of the day to preserve fuel at stations. Shipping forecast is reduced to a handful of areas called out by name and wind direction shouted on the hour. London reports that the Thames barrier is closed more often than open, and there is frazzle ice near Woolwich at slack tide. The southwest is ferrying people by tracked vehicles between farm clusters on the high ground above Exeter. The Midlands have set up hot rooms in libraries with coal stoves revived from basements. Scotland is a fortress of stubborn people. The A9 road to Inverness is a trench. The Cairngorm ski centres are now rescue posts. If you are in the islands with a generator, you are the envy of the mainland. Use it to keep children warm and radios alive. I have got a shortwave card here from the ham in Antwerp, who copied our frequency last night. He said the Scheldt froze at the edges, and the cranes at the docks are hung with icicles long enough to spear the earth. He said he could hear the English voices listing street names, and it made him tidy his workbench more carefully. He said that is what order sounds like. That is a fine sentence, and I am nicking it. Order does not mean shouting. It means cups stacked, blankets folded, a pan ready, a torch where your hand expects it to be. Let us talk technicals for a minute for anyone trying to keep a transmitter alive elsewhere. We are feeding the exciter with a 12-volt system buffered by a car battery kept under a blanket near the stove. We have a coax run scabbed together from 2 different rolls with a soldered join under heat shrink. It is not pretty, but the standing wave ratio is tolerable. The dipole is standard and aimed roughly east-west to throw north and south. If you do not have meters, you have a filament bulb. Wire it in line as a dummy load and watch the glow. If it is bright and your radio is not cooking itself, you are in the ballpark. Keep the feed line off the stone. Frost can detune you in a way that will make you swear. Phones are flashing. Line 3, speak to us. It is Officer Helen Dow from Elland Road Station. We are stretched thin. We are walking patrols because the cars will not start and the diesel is locked away. We are not kicking doors, we are checking on the elderly and keeping an eye on the ration queues. If someone with a weapon is menacing your street, phone it in and then go indoors. Do not try to be a hero with a cricket bat. Also tell people to stop lighting fires in wheelie bins under windows. We have had 2 terrace houses with scorched sills and singed curtains. That is how you lose a row. Thank you, Officer Dow. You have been straight with us since day 1. Right, that message is clear. No bin fires near walls. Keep flame in proper pits or on bare earth. If you are tempted to borrow diesel from a parked bus or lorry, do not. Someone is watching and you will get a hiding or worse. We are not losing lives over a jerry can. I want to address the rubbish messages that creep around on certain frequencies. Peddlers hawking miracle heating bricks that glow for a day and then crumble to chalk. Grifters promising a convoy from down south with sugar and petrol if you pay a deposit in cash. A voice pretending to be from the council telling you to leave your home and walk to a leisure center in the dark. No. If the council wants you, you will hear it from a loud hailer on a truck with a blue stripe, and you will hear it here. We keep it plain. When we speak an address, it is a real door with a real person behind it. A word on water. Pipes are snapping in lofts. If you have not done this yet, turn off your stop tap, Drain the system by running the downstairs taps, then refill a few buckets and keep those buckets near heat so the ice does not glue them to the floor. If you have a water butt under a downpipe, it is a drum of ice now. Do not chip at it. You will split the plastic. Bring in snow in clean tubs, melt it, boil it rolling for a minute, add a pinch of salt to make it taste of something. If you have purification tablets from a camping kit, follow the instructions exactly. Do not guess. Guessing ends in gut rot. We do not want that queue at the hospital. I am getting hand signals from Sam in the nave. He wants me to remind you that the bell ropes are not for climbing and the rood screen is not a drying rack. Fair enough. He is right. We are guests in a place that has outlived empires. We behave. Story time, grown-up edition. Last night, just before the generator went off, I went out to check the antenna lashings. I clipped on, took the ladder, and stepped into air that bit my lips through the scarf. On the ledge, the screw tops were rimed white. The sky had that dark, smooth look it gets when the clouds sit low and refuse to budge. I turned the spanner with gloved fingers and felt the bolt give a millimeter. That was enough to calm the swaying. On the way down, I heard feet on snow. A figure by the gate, hands out. A kid. Hat with a pom-pom hanging to one side. Scarf striped green and black. He shouted up, voice thin, and asked if this was the radio place. I said yes. He asked if we could say a name. I said yes, if you bring me the name and you do not lie about it. He handed me a folded bit of exercise book. The pencil was smudged where the gloves rubbed it. I gave him a biscuit wrapped in paper and I shut the gate. I read the name by candle while the generator ticked itself to sleep. It said, Grandad Peter is in the black coat at the bus stop near the church on Tong Road. He likes jams. Tell him Ellie and Josh are at Auntie Sue's. Tell him to stay put after sunrise and we will come. So here I am, reading it out again because the world needs this message to find its old man. Grandad Peter, if you are upright and hearing me, you sit on that bench with your back to the advertisement board where the wind is dull. You hold your scarf tight. Your Ellie and your Josh are warm, and they will collect you when the daylight is brave enough. Food detail for anyone with a pan and a stubborn streak. Oats can be turned into flatbread with water, salt, and whatever fat you have. Mix to a dough, press with the palm, and cook on a flat, hot surface. If you have no fat, cook it dry and eat it fast while it is bendable. Dried peas and lentils want soaking. Warm the soaking water a touch by hugging the pot near the stove, and they will soften sooner. Do not soak in icy water and expect miracles. Use the oven heat if you still have gas. If you do not, put a stone in the fire and cook on that. Do not laugh. It works. I am turning now to messages from out of town. York Minster reports that the nave has a soup line running on trestled tables and the chapter house is full of kids reading by headlamps. Bradford Cathedral has a bank of old night storage heaters running off a tiny turbine in the river. That is ingenious. Sheffield Community Radio is on a roof by the old market and is bouncing off our antenna. We hear you, Sheffield. You sound proper. Manchester says the water mains under the ring road burst and the ice heaved the asphalt up like a bad pie crust. Crews have thrown canvas over the holes and packed snow on top to insulate the break until a thaw that may not come. Birmingham says the canals are steel. Coventry is building a covered walkway between two libraries so the wind cannot cut people to the bone as they queue. Glasgow says the Clyde is gray and slow, and the cranes are backlit by a sun that never clears the low clouds. Aberdeen has men on ropes at the harbor breaking ice off bollards with sledgehammers. You can hear the ring on shortwave if you tune at dusk. It sounds like a foundry. We will do a short 3-minute quiet period after this note so the generator can cool and so we can let the small battery pack feed the exciter alone. If we vanish, count to 62 and we will be back. If we do not return, assume a fuse blew and shout up at the gate. Sam will sort it. Before we drop, one more safety bit. Clothing. Layers win. Cotton kills when it is wet. Wool is your new religion. If you have a duvet coat, wear it. If you do not, build one. T-shirt, long sleeve, jumper, coat, 2 pairs of socks. Plastic bag between sock layers if your boots leak. Gloves with glove liners. A hat. No arguments. If you are stubborn and too proud to wear a daft hat, Get over yourself. Pride does not keep ears attached. Grease the exposed skin with any fat if the wind is mean. Even lip balm on cheekbones makes a difference. Quiet period? Now, stay with us. We are back. The generator is purring real low to save diesel, and Sam looks smug, which means the ducting he built to pull warm air over the carb has paid off. Thank the man when you see him. He looks like a scarecrow, but he makes air behave. Let us talk about movement. If you must walk in this, move slow and deliberate. Plant your foot. Shift weight. Repeat. Use a stick. If you have an old hiking pole, dust it off. If you do not, a broom handle will do. Tie a bit of cloth on the top so a driver can see it through spindrift. Walk facing the traffic, such as it is, so you can step off before a sledge-bodge car slides your way. Carry a card round your neck with your name, a phone number if any, and a note saying where you intend to go. Sounds grim? It is not. It is tidy. If you fall, someone can help you to the right door. Rumor watch. No. The army is not evacuating Leeds to the south coast in a column of trucks. The soldiers you see are guarding a fuel yard and shepherding a convoy of grit salts from a mine in Cheshire. Yes, the Navy sent a ship to pluck a group off a gas platform in the North Sea before the ice locked it. No. The Queen, rest her, did not leave a secret bunker under Roundhay Park. There is a water pumping station down there and some old concrete. You will find rats and disappointment. We have a message from a physics teacher who made it to the station yesterday with a scarf around his mouth and a notebook under his coat. He said his students would ask why this is happening, and he wanted words he could read aloud that did not lie. I wrote them down and stuck them on the wall. Here they are. Our planet moves heat around. Warm salt water runs north from the tropics and releases heat to the air, and the cooled water sinks and returns south in the deep. That loop is fussy. Fresh water from melting northern ice and heavy rain changed the balance. The loop stalled. Without that moving blanket of heat, the air over our sea turned hard and bitter. Storms formed where they did not used to. Snow fell where it used to rain. The fields that fed us went quiet. We do not know how long this will last. We do know how to keep each other alive day by day. We will do that. We do a dead simple power check every hour on the hour. Here it is. I am pulling the cord on the generator choke. The light in front of me dips. The needle on the panel wobbles and settles. We are good. Batteries in the side room show green on 3 packs and red on 1. Red pack will be hooked to the bicycle dynamo at midday when the strong lads come in to pedal. If you hear breathless swearing on a background mic later, applaud quietly. That is our grid. Line 4, go. This is Father Michael down the road at the Methodist Hall. We have 30 people, some elderly. The stove is doing its best. A lad with a crow scar on his wrist stole a bag of coal from the pile at the back and ran. If your broadcast reaches him, tell him to bring it back and take a loaf instead. We cannot heat the whole place with empty hands. Message passed, Father. Lad with the scar, you heard the man. Bring the coal back. Take bread. Feed your stomach and your conscience in one trip. We all slip. We correct it fast. Time for a field note from the river. The air is moving slow, but it is moving. Do not try to walk on the glassy skin and near the edges. It is a lid over a dark mouth, and it will break under a careless adult. Dogs are falling in, and their owners are going after them, and now we have 2 cold bodies, not 1. Keep dogs on leads. If you do not, that is on you. Right, I am going to read a list of kit requests from the Council's command group. If you have these things and can spare them, write the item on a bit of card and the address I'm about to read and tape it inside your window. A patrol on foot will knock and ask for it in daylight. First, snow shovels. Proper metal blade, not plastic garden toys. Second, roof rakes or anything with a hook you can pull snow off gutters with. Third, hand saws for ice. Fourth, old army sleeping bags and wool blankets. Fifth, camping stoves and fuel. Sixth, candles. Seventh, batteries any size. Eighth, a working petrol generator no larger than a suitcase. If you loan a generator, write your name on the handle with a marker and keep the fuel separate. We will track items. We are not animals. For those in high-rise flats with rubbish insulation, stairwells are warmer than your lounge because the building bleeds heat into the core. Take a duvet, a pan, and a thermos, and camp by the lift with your neighbors. Keep exits clear. Bring a bucket for loo trips. Make a rota for the kids so they do not run about and chill down the corridor. It is not fun, but you will breathe air that does not slap your lungs. I see a note from the lads at the bus depot. They have a handful of double-deckers that will start if you coax them. They propose to run them as warm rooms, parked nose to tail by the market, using a drip feed of diesel and the engines at idle. This is not green, this is survival. If you are an engineer who can keep a bus from choking in the cold, go to the depot at midday and say, "I am here to keep your heater running." You will be handed a spanner and a cup of something hot, and you will be loved. I want to say the word grief. We are a northern city. We do gallows humor and we blast music when we are hurt. This week, I want you to allow the quiet for a breath. If you have lost someone, light a candle, say their name, and slide the candle in a jam jar on the window ledge at dusk. It will be one more small star that says we remember. Then blow it out before bed because we are not losing houses to fire. We have an engineer on line 5. Speak. Samira from the University Mechanical Workshop. We have a small turbine blade set we use for demonstrations. If someone can find a drop of water with any head on it, we can mount it and spin a belt and charge car batteries. We need bearings, belts, and a way to anchor it where it will not be nicked. Brilliant. Everyone hears that? Small water turbine. If you know a mill race with flow, even slow, even under crust, we can build a trickle charger. Offers of site and bits to the church gate after lunch. We will make a map and send a crew. That is the kind of cunning that gets us through the long stretch. A lot of you are asking if spring will come. I am not a prophet. I am a radio man with chapped lips. The smart folks say weather is not climate, and climate is not a calendar. They say we may get a week of less cold and then the knife again. So you plan for a long siege and enjoy small thaws as holidays. On a mild day, open windows, shake blankets, dry boots, clean the stove flue, and knock ice off the eaves before it tears your gutters down. Then you brace. We break for a song in our heads. Not on air because we're keeping it clear for speech, but if you need a tune, hum the one your mum sang when she mopped the kitchen. It will keep your jaw from clenching. Right, back to names. Mrs. Patel on Hyde Park Road says she has 3 tins of tomatoes, and she will swap one for a set of batteries size AA. Colin in Meanwood says he can sharpen knives and axes on a stone wheel if you bring them wrapped and wait your turn. Emina on Roundhay Road has baby formula and needs nappies size small, swap only. The lads under the railway bridge by the station have fixed a barrel stove and will brew tea if you bring tea bags and clean water. Met Office Courier update, handed in by a lad in a fluorescent jacket who looks like he ran here. Winds will back northeast later, which for us means the drifts will fold over the same spots they did yesterday. Do not dig the same path again. Move the path 2 doors down and share it between 3 houses. Roof load is becoming a problem on flat roofs. If you can, pull weight off gently. Do not stand under a cornice of snow the size of a car. You will wear it, and the fall will make your bones sing. Tie yourself off. Work with a friend watching. We are going to try a link up with Sheffield on the community frequency. If you hear a chorus of voices, do not panic. That is 2 stations sharing a wire. Sheffield, do you copy? Copy, Leeds. You are a little hollow, but understandable. We have shut the parkway and moved everyone into the winter gardens and the library. The plants are iced in place, but they break the wind. A student orchestra has set up in the corner and is playing to keep fingers moving. We are fine. Send blankets and string. If anyone has a spare wood screw that is not made of cheese, we would love it. Heard. Blankets and string and screws. That is a shopping list I can respect. We will send a crew with hot flasks and a bag of hardware. Keep the music going. I have a personal story I want to put down while the generator hum is steady. Before all this, I mixed sound at a small club off Call Lane. Thursday nights, acoustic sets, earnest kids with guitars, and heartbreak. One lad used to tune his guitar to a drone and build a wall of noise that made your fillings feel taller. He came up to the desk one night and said, "I do not know if any of that matters." I told him then what I'm telling you now. It matters that we show up and make a small piece of order where there is none. It matters that someone hears their name and knows a city is bending its ear to them. It matters that a cup of tea is hot and it is shared. There is no big speech that fixes this. There is a shift rota and a stack of kind acts. That is the road. I will take a call from an older voice now because the station elders glower if I do not. Line 6. This is Dorothy from Beeston. I am 80 and change, and I have seen a war and the 3-day week and a miners' strike that made dinner small and tempers big. This is colder than all of that. My hands do not like the mornings, but do you know what? The lad next door puts a pan on my stove before he leaves for his shift at the hot room, and he leaves a slice of bread by the kettle. I sit and I listen to you talk. My radio was my friend when I had the baby on my hip, and my husband at a factory that stank of chemicals. It is my friend now. Keep going, love. Dorothy, you have just fed the whole room here. Thank you. You keep your hat on indoors and you put your legs up and you shout out the window if you need a hand. And if any chancer bothers you, I will come down there with half of Armley and we will balance that account. Afternoon plan. We send a small convoy to the wholesale warehouse by Gelderd Road to pick up sacks of flour and a crate of yeast. 2 vans, 4 adults, 1 radio per van, and a runner on a bike with studs on the tires, riding the side road to scout. If you want to volunteer, write your name on a card and tuck it under the stone bowl by the gate. Include if you can drive a van in snow, if you can change a tire with fingers that do not work so well in the cold, if you can keep stum when stopped by someone who fancies their chances. We are not playing cowboy. We are picking up bread for kids. Keep it boring. Bring it home. Out of city now for a beat. Edinburgh says a freight train with de-icing fluid is stuck on a siding, and the crew has dug themselves a snow cave under the chassis to get out of the wind. They are cooking on a gas ring and reading old newspapers aloud like they are Shakespeare. Belfast says the docks are running on a generator that makes a noise like a drum solo, and the cranes are lifting containers of tinned goods to a line of lorries with chains on the tires. Cardiff says the stadium is a dormitory and the pitch is a white carpet. Plymouth says a frigate has lit up the sound at night like a street, and people gather by the wall just to stand near a light that does not flicker. We keep getting asked whether to head south. People think the coast will be warmer. It might by a small handful of degrees sheltered by hills. Then the wind shifts, and you are in another city without a neighbor to vouch for you. My advice, and the advice of a lot of sensible old heads, is this. If your house has walls and a roof and a heat source, you stay. You knit yourself into the street, you share chores, you set a watch and you make soup. If you are in a caravan with a canvas roof and the wind is painting it white, you move to a building of brick, not far, just to the nearest place that will hold heat. Movement kills in this weather. Stay put. Build out. I'm going to read a short bastion of facts for anyone with a mind that spins out when there is too much feeling. 1. Human bodies make heat. Keep bodies close. 2. Boiling water makes a room feel kinder. Keep a pan going if you can. 3. A rolled towel at the bottom of a door saves more heat than you think. 4. A candle under a flower pot does not heat a room, but 6 candles under 6 flower pots under a metal rack will warm hands and a small space if ventilated. 5. Sugar and salt in warm water keep muscles from cramping in the cold. 6. Radio is a rope. Keep a grip. The church clock that is not working will chime soon because Sam is on the pulley rope. That is his joke. He wants the street to hear a sound that says we are still here. I will let him do it. Old stones like old sounds. There it goes. A dull note rolling over roofs padded with snow. It is not pretty. It is something. People on the pavement will look up and smile under scarves they pretend are not damp. That is enough for this hour. We will close this block with a reading of practical addresses. Warm room at Burley Park School, side entrance on the field. Soup at 1 in the afternoon. Hot drinks again at 5 in the evening. No dogs indoors. Leave them by the door with a bowl of warm water and a blanket. Night refuge at the Civic Hall. East door, bring your own blankets if you have them. Leave with the same number you brought. Medical triage at St. James's Chapel, already said, but saying again because memory slips when blood is cold. Tool library at Holbeck, under the rail arches, bring ID, or a neighbor who knows your face. Baker's fire at Hunslet, car park as before. Final note to a man named Peter in a black coat at the bus stop on Tong Road. Your family will come at first light with a flask of tea and a scarf that smells of your house. Sit tight. Sing the football song of your childhood under your breath if your jaw chatters. Look up at the church spire now and then. If the red lamp glows, the transmitter is still breathing and I am still talking and the city is still turning its ear to you. This is Moorland Community Radio, Leeds. Frequency modulation 94.8 MHz and shortwave 7.400 MHz. When the ionosphere fancies being kind. We will return at the top of the hour if the generator gods smile. Until then, breathe slow, wrap up, be decent. We walk out of this together or not at all. Jarvis out for a short while. We are back. Short while became shorter because the generator coughed in a new way that made Sam pull a face. He sorted it with a screwdriver and a prayer to a saint of engines he invented on the spot. Good man, back to work. Two things hit the desk in the quiet. One, a stack of child drawings tucked into the ledger, snowmen with square teeth, houses with smoke, a radio with a face. Two, a letter from a group at the University of Leeds Physics Building. They want me to read a short plan. It is dull and beautiful, and it will keep people alive. Owners of flat roofs and terraced rows should form a gang of 4. Tie together with ropes, lean from the hatch, and pull snow down with hooks. Clear evenly to avoid loading one side. Do not throw snow onto neighbors' doors. Work in bursts of 10 minutes. Warm hands in water that is warm enough to sting, but not scald. Stretch fingers. Drink a cup of sweet tea. Repeat. There. That is an instruction I can live with. Another call. Line 1 again. Tom, it's Mia from Chapel Allerton. We have a heat leak in the church hall roof. We can see steam from the eaves. We do not have a ladder tall enough. If anyone out there is a roofer, we will trade a crate of tinned pears and a bottle of something foul we found in the vestry for an hour of your time. Roofers, that is your bat signal. Chapel Allerton Church Hall. Tell them you heard it on the radio. Wear a harness. Do not fall and make more work. I am going to include something that might make the more stoic among you roll your eyes. Laugh in a corner and then do it anyway. If you're in a room with 3 or more people, pick a silly job title for each person today. One is fire master, one is blanket captain, one is tea officer, one is window scout. Write them on paper and pin them to hats. Children stop spiraling when they have a badge. Adults do too. Nobody argues with the tea officer when the tea is hot and the officer is wearing a hat that says TA. That is order you can drink. Out to the edges again. A shepherd from the Dales has driven sheep into a stone barn and says the sheep's breath makes the barn livable. He sleeps there instead of his cottage with the frozen pipes. He says he is not daft. He is right. A bloke in Hull has built a small raft of pallets to slide over the ice to a barge with a generator. He pulls it with a rope and swears the whole time and then laughs when it works. A woman in Newcastle has rigged a clothesline pulley between flats and is sending soup in jars across the gap. She uses a sock as a flag when the line is in use. That is the country I recognize. Discussion of weapons comes up in whispers and in angry bursts at the gate. I will be plain. If you have a firearm legally stored, and you bring it into a hot room or a ration queue, you are an idiot. If you have a tool and you need to deter a chancer at your door, keep it by the door and keep your voice steady. The police are walking. The rest of us are a wall with eyes. We will not let a few hard cases turn this into a film we did not ask to be in. We hold the line by showing up together, not by waving metal at the sky. Medical note from Hannah again. Frostnip is the early stage. Skin turns pale and numb. Warm it with body heat, not hot water. Frostbite is the bad one. Skin goes waxy and hard. Do not rub it. Do not crack the skin. Warm slowly. If black patches appear, cover and seek help. She says she hates saying that over a crackly line, but clarity saves fingers. Thank you, Hannah. Sam is pointing at the fuel ledger. We are at a quarter tank. That is not a panic number. That is a planning number. I am stating it so that the city hears it and responds like a city. If you can safely contribute diesel, do so in daylight. If you cannot, do not fret. Bring candles or batteries or tea bags and shove them through the gate with a note. We burn through words faster than fuel and both keep us alive. Here is the plan for fuel. We are creating a day team and a night team. Day team brings in diesel, checks drums, filters for water, and logs every container. Night team guards and meters it into the generator by timetable. No more, just a splash to keep it sweet. We run the station in blocks with strict cooldowns. Sam has printed a chalk schedule on a board by the nave door. If you see him wipe a line, do not argue. He has a better feel for the engine than the rest of us. We also need to cut demand. I am dropping transmitter power by 1 notch during quiet periods. I am moving the antenna feed inside a sleeve of old carpet to hold temperature. The coax loses less signal when it is not ice cold. If you are building your own setup, copy that. Insulate the cable. Keep batteries warm. A car battery wrapped in a blanket works better than the same battery on bare stone. Right. Calls are lighting up. Line 1, go. It is Brian from Holbeck. The roof of the garage on Shafton Lane has fallen in. No one hurt. 2 cars buried, and 1 is mine. We can hear the frame creak. If anyone has props or timber, we could shore the wall and pull a kid's bike out for a lad who is losing his mind inside. Thank you, Brian. Holbeck, Shafton Lane, collapsed garage. If you have timber or old scaffold boards, take 2 pieces each and go in 2s. Brace the wall, get the bike, and clear out. Do not play savior with a roof that is still moving. If you cannot get the bike, leave it. A child alive and cross is better than a man pinned under a beam. Line 2. Hannah, at St. James's again. We got the blankets, bless you all. Oxygen concentrators are wheezing. We have a backup cylinder bank, but the regulator is frosting. If anyone has a bottle of warm water and a steady hand, we can thaw the fittings and get flow. Also, we lost 1 patient in the night. We did what we could. Please ask people not to crowd the chapel door. We need a clear line for stretchers. Message heard. Take a flask to St. James's Chapel and ask for the nurse on the door. If you are not medical, do not cross the rope line. Make space, bring heat, keep voices down. I am sorry about the loss. We are putting that candle in the ledger with today's date. Line 3. Council control here. We have permission to share this. There is diesel stored at a data center on the ring road. The site has a fence and 2 guards who have not slept much. We want a community convoy to approach, negotiate, and transfer a portion. We cannot spare officers to escort. If this works, we can repeat it. If it turns noisy, the center will go dark and everyone loses. That is serious. Listen up. We are looking for 6 volunteers with clean records who can speak plain and stand firm. Drivers who can nurse a van through ruts without spinning. A mechanic who can assess a pump without drama. A teacher or a nurse who can look a guard in the eye and lower the temperature. Write your name and skill on a card and slide it under the bowl by the gate. You will be briefed here. No lone heroes turning up at the data center. That will end badly. Now, a cold snap warning from the Met office runner. Temperatures will drop again this afternoon when the wind swings to the east-northeast. I want everyone to reset their house for deeper cold. Block drafts around keyholes with tape and paper. Move sleeping areas away from external walls. Pull mattresses into the smallest room. If you have a tent, pitch it indoors and sleep inside with blankets over the top. It looks daft. It saves lives. Technical tip. For anyone with a dead smartphone, they are using only as a radio or flashlight. If it shuts off in the cold at high battery percentage, warm it in your pocket for 10 minutes and try again. Lithium cells sulk when frozen. Warmth restores a bit of charge. Use that charge for a single task. Do not scroll. Do not waste power on anything that is not a message or a map. We are getting a flood of notes about carbon monoxide. I am repeating a warning. Do not run generators or barbecues indoors, not in a hallway. Not in a garage with the door open a crack. Outside, away from windows with the exhaust pointing somewhere the fumes will not pool. If you feel drowsy in a wrong way, get into cold air and breathe slow until your head clears. Do not lie down. Sam says we can squeeze in a short song. He is wrong. We are staying speech only for now. He pulled the face. I told him to hum while he coils rope. That got a laugh from 2 blankets in the choir stalls. Small wins. We are starting the diesel convoy brief. I am reading from the board. Route goes from the church to Tong Road, then around the worst drifts, then the ring road, then the data center near the business park. We travel at walking pace with a scout on foot checking for ice sheets and hidden holes. Each van carries a tow rope, a shovel, a sack of sand, a flask, and a printed letter from the council. We approach without headlights pointing at faces. Engines off at the gate, hands visible. We state who sent us, what we need, what we can offer in return, a portion of diesel left on site for their next run, and a promise to broadcast their rules for order. We transfer fuel through a filter and a hose, keep it off the ground, and log every liter. We leave a receipt and a contact name. We do not argue with the guards. If they say no, we go home with empty hands and we try a different site. This is not a raid. This is a deal between neighbors. I will narrate it live as far as our radios allow. People deserve to hear competent work. It will calm nerves and set a standard. Before they step out, a quick list for the rest of you. Make trench paths between houses and mark them with sticks and tape. Cut steps into drifts so the elderly can move without falling. Screw short wood screws into the soles of old trainers to make grips if you have no crampons. Keep the sharp bits out of sight when you go indoors so you do not chew a floor. If you have a whistle, wear it. A blast brings hands to a window faster than a shout in this air. We have a line open to Manchester Community Radio. Mate, are you there? Here, we lost a roof on a block in Ancoats. No fires, thank God. We have moved 70 people into a car park under a supermarket. The concrete holds heat better than brick right now. We have lights from a car battery bank we rigged together. We are rationing bulbs and painting the concrete with arrows for toilets and sleeping bays. Tell Leeds our food convoy got as far as Oldham and then stalled. We will retry at first light with more shovels and fewer cars. Heard. Arrows on concrete. Fewer cars, more shovels. That is the tone. Good work, Manchester. Our convoy is rolling. I can hear the scout's breath on the handheld. Pothole ahead, wide, filled with ice. Step to the right. Right again. Stop. Sand here. Those instructions are poetry of a sort that does not waste a word. The vans creep forward. Tires chirp on ice, then bite. No horns, no revving. Calm voices. While they move, I'm going to read some hard choices that people sent in and what they did. A couple in Gipton had a wood pile and 3 neighbors with none. They cut their own rations down and gave wood each night to a different house on a rota, with the rule that the receiving house hosts 2 elderly guests by the fire for 2 hours. That moves heat to people, not just walls. A shopkeeper on Dewsbury Road had a crate of batteries and no change. He wrote, "Take 2 per household" on the box, set it on the pavement with a felt tip, and watch from inside. He counted 90 households. 90 times 2 batteries is a lot of light. Only one lad tried to pocket 4. The crowd stared him down and he put 2 back. Order enforced by faces, not fists. Static on the handheld. A voice. Gate in sight. 2 men in security jackets. 1 waves. We are stopping. Engines off. I can hear boots on hard snow. The guard's voice is tight but not angry. Name? Our lead gives his name and the letter from the council. A pause. How much? We ask for a share equal to 2 drums. We offer to leave 1 drum for them. We describe that we will filter and record. Another pause. A deep breath. Half a drum? No more? Our lead says, we can work with that. He does not push. A gate creaks. You can hear diesel pumps, metal cold, handle stiff, then flow. The sound of fuel hitting plastic is the best sound in the city this minute. We will take half a drum and be grateful. We keep relationships. We will come back with bread and string and a promise kept. While they fill, a new hazard. A caller reports ice fog rolling down from the ring road. Visibility inside streets has dropped to a few car lengths. If you are outside, put a band of bright cloth on your arm and carry a torch pointed at the ground. Vehicles should stop where they are safe. Switch lights to side lights and wait. Feet first in weather like this. A mother on the line. My son's asthma is kicking off. His inhaler is nearly empty. Here is the protocol. Warm the canister under your arm before use. Shake well. Use the spacer if you have one. Even a folded paper cone is better than nothing. Slow breaths. If the wheeze does not ease, call and we will get a runner with a spare. We have a small stock at the church from a pharmacy that opened it safe. We track each one. We do not hoard. A man from the river phones in with a clear voice. The ice near the weir cracked. No one fell in. We have posted a notice on both banks and strung a rope 20 paces upstream. Kids keep away. Dog walkers leads on. We are done with rescues through thin crust. Good. That kind of blunt message saves city resources and hearts. Our convoy is heading back. The scout says one van slid into a drift, rear wheel deep. They are digging, not spinning. A player in a past life would have floored it. These are careful drivers. Spades bite. Sand goes under the tire. Gentle throttle. It climbs out. Cheers go up in the nave. Someone claps under a blanket. I allow myself a grin. We will rig water separators when the drum arrives. Diesel in this cold can carry ice crystals. We will decant through a cloth into a clean container and let any water settle out under a lamp. If you are doing this at home for a heater, keep flame away and patience close. Do not rush fuel. A split drum is a disaster and a waste. Switching gears, Samira from the university is here with a rough sketch of a micro turbine, a pram wheel, a bicycle rim, 2 bearings, and a salvaged alternator. The plan is to mount it over the mill race at Kirkstall. Flow is slow but constant. With a belt and a simple frame, we can trickle charge a bank of batteries for the night shift. She needs a team of 3, with good hands and warm gloves, and one person who can mind a ratchet strap without losing fingers. If you have that knack, bring it. We are getting reports from further out. York Minster's soup line doubled and they are low on salt. Bradford's turbine failed for an hour due to ice in the intake. They cleared it with boiling water and a broom handle. Sheffield's student orchestra has numb fingers and a lorry battery lighting rig that keeps tripping. An electrician is on the way with thicker cable. The country is a workshop. Every fix is a lesson we can share. A short message for schools acting as warm rooms. Set quiet hours for the very young and the very old. Stick a timetable on the wall. Breakfast, cleanup, reading, quiet games, lunch, chores, rest. Early tea, lights down. Discipline is not a shout here, it is a rhythm. Kids are calmer when the day has shape. Adults are kinder when they can predict the next job. We have news from the coast. Scarborough Lifeboat Station reports that the slipway is glazed. They cannot launch, and they are furious about it. They have opened the boathouse as a hot room instead. Fishermen are sleeping under a hull that saved lives in better winters. If anyone inland has spare hand warmers, post them to the coast through the council, sealed and labeled. The sea communities look after us when the wind is kinder. We look after them now. A short segment on hygiene, because sickness is creeping in. Boil water when you can. If you cannot, strain through cloth and let it sit for a bit so particles drop out. Wash hands with a small amount of warm water and soap before food prep. Dry hands on a clean cloth hung near heat. Share strong disinfectant between households. A splash in a bucket of warm water keeps shared toilets decent. Label buckets, no mix-ups. We have trouble at the ration line. A shove turned into a grip on a collar turned into a scuffle. It stopped fast because 3 older women stepped between and told both men to wind it in. They wrote the names in a book. Names matter. A name written down makes men think twice tomorrow. I will not read them out. We are not doing the stocks. We are doing correction. The convoy returns. The drum is on a sledge with a rope sliding over the packed snow. We roll it onto a pallet by the generator shed. Sam wipes the cap, cracks it, sniffs, and nods. Diesel with a touch of kerosene, which is lucky in this cold. He runs a bit through a coffee filter and it looks clean. He grins at me and I feel my shoulders drop an inch. That buys us days if we keep our heads. We are putting in a community bell code because radios die and voices do not carry in this air. 1 long ring for the hour, 2 short rings for a convoy arriving, 3 short rings for a medical runner needed at the gate, 4 short rings for a building at risk nearby. 5 rings is fire and the whole street comes with buckets, lids, blankets, and the name of the house shouted clear. We will practice at dusk. Churches across the city feel free to steal this. Personal update. I got a 30-second whisper from Sarah. Our boy had a small fever in the night. She lowered the room temperature by moving him further from the stove and giving him sips of water and a bit of crushed paracetamol from our box. A neighbor sat on the step and read from a book to keep our daughter from listening too hard to the cough. No panic in her voice. She knows the drill. I'm saying this because someone listening is in the same boat right now and needs to hear that a calm parent beats a deep medicine cupboard. A quiet tragedy to mark, with consent from the family. An older man in Hare Hills did not wake this morning. The room was cold. No marks, no drama. His granddaughter sat with him and held his hand until the runner arrived. We will help with the rites as the family prefers. If you have a faith leader willing to travel short distances in daylight for prayers and comfort, call in your area and we will connect you to addresses. People need words and familiar patterns when the world is loud. Engineering corner. The generator is happier if the exhaust has a windbreak. Sam has built one from corrugated metal and 2 old doors filled with rock wool. He has left a gap so fumes do not bounce back. He is also warming the intake air through a small duct near the stovepipe. That raises the intake temperature by a few degrees and keeps the carburetor from frosting. If you do not know that word, do not fret. If your small engine stalls in the cold, warming the air that goes in can help. Do not set anything on fire. No tarps draped over exhausts. We are getting word from Drax. The big biomass plant is cycling in and out as feedstock freezes in conveyors. Engineers are on site with hammers and steam lances. They will keep trying to push power to the grid islands that are still alive. Do not sit waiting for mains electricity. If it comes, enjoy the kettle. If it does not, keep the stove on and the plan simple. 2 lads just came to the gate with a sack of candles and a football. They said, "We nicked the candles from our mum's drawer with permission and we want to swap the football for soup for the kids at the school." We took the candles, we wrote down their names, we gave them a bag of flour and a pan, and we told them to take the football to the school at 4 in the afternoon and get a game going inside the hall. Movement warms bodies faster than a sulk by a wall. We are going to open the switch for a low-power night broadcast later and save diesel. But first, I need to read the city a map for the next 6 hours. Flower run, done. Turbine crew, departing now. Roof teams, finish by 3 in the afternoon and come down before the light goes flat. St. James's wants a new rota of runners for medicine. Hunslet Bakery fire needs more dry wood pallets, stamped with the right marks to burn clean. Do not bring pallets soaked in chemicals. If you do not know, ask. Markets close before dusk and get home in groups. Night watch, start at 8 in the evening with hot flasks and a notebook per street. Write times and faces, not feelings. Leave the last hour for sleep. What follows is grim and also useful. A gas main under a terrace in Beeston cracked due to ground heave. Gas smell in cold air is hard to catch, but it is there. The family did the right thing. No lights, no matches. They opened the door and walked to the corner. A neighbor turned the stop valve on the pavement with a spanner and knocked each door. Fire crew arrived with a bond of steam on their coats and a clamp for the pipe. No explosion, no fire. That is what right looks like. If you smell gas, leave and stop the feed. Return only when a crew waves you in. A word on food. Save high-energy snacks for those who are moving heavy things. A builder lifting snow off a roof uses more fuel than a man under blankets with a book. Feed the work first. Rotate duties so the same bodies do not burn out. Children can carry kindling, fill thermoses, and count batteries. Give them jobs that matter. They rise to it. I'm going to take one call that will set some of you off, and then we will bring it back. Line 4. This is Dean. I tried to siphon diesel from a parked bus last night. 2 blokes chased me off and I ran. I'm calling to say I will not try that again. I will bring 2 liters from my shed instead and put it at your gate. I am sorry. Apology logged. Dean, bring what you promised in daylight with a friend. You will see eyes on you. That is how it is now. You do not get a medal for this. You get to be part of the circle again. Stay there. The turbine team sends a scratchy update. We are at Kirkstall. Water is slow but steady. We have a frame from bed slats and a chair back. Alternator spins at low speed with a belt from a washing machine. We are getting a small charge. It will build if the bearings loosen. We will lash it and station 2 to guard. The first amp hour of clean charge in a week tastes better than soup. I can feel the mood lift in the nave as I speak the words. Sheffield again. We have a cracked skylight and a ladder. A roofer from Leeds walked in with a bag of screws and made short work of it. We set him off with a basket of apples and a handwritten song list. Tell your lot we owe you. Consider it paid. Consider it what neighbors do. Night comes early. I'm talking about light levels, not poetry. We are adjusting the schedule. One last high-power burst shortly to carry this message to the edges. After that, low-power whisper mode. We keep the shortwave alive for the outlying farms who count on it. If your set goes faint, you are not alone. You are hearing us on a diet. Before we dim, I want to read a sheet of decisions that might sit heavy but will save misery later. If a house is empty and frozen and pipes have burst, mark the door with a chalk cross and a date. That alerts crews to hazards and keeps scavengers from walking into a trap of glass and ice. If you find a body, do not move it alone. Cover respectfully. Note the time, the place, and any identifying marks. Call it in. A small group will attend with care. We keep records. Families deserve clear answers later. If you have pets, you cannot feed. Bring them to the church in daylight. We have a pen and a rota. No judgment. Better a living animal with a new home than a quiet corner with no breath. Quick shout to the rail lads. You have been sending us railside updates like clockwork. Today's note says points are frozen and you are moving levers with crowbars, swearing in dialects that could power a city. Keep at it. Trains will matter again. Steel and track will outlast this if we keep the bones intact. We go to whisper mode for 1 hour. If you hear silence, count to 60 and breathe through your nose, in and out, slow. That is not mystical. That is how to keep warm and steady. We are not going anywhere. Low power is holding. The exciter hum is a thin line in my ear. The nave is a dim cave of blankets and hats. Sam is asleep on a coil of cable with a spanner in his fist like a child with a toy car. I have a candle jammed into a tea mug. I am going to use the quiet to read out recipes that the old ones left on the table. Porridge with a pinch of salt and a drop of jam is better than plain porridge. Flatbread brushed with a smear of oil and a dusting of sugar is a treat for a cold morning. Lentil soup with onion and a bay leaf will make a room smell like a room again. Do not waste bay leaves. 1 leaf, not 3. We had a visit earlier I did not tell you about because I wanted to see where it went. 3 men smelling of wood smoke came to the gate and asked for the generator. Not for fuel, for the whole unit. They said they needed it for a big job up the hill. I said no. They frowned. They asked again. I told them our set keeps hospital messages running, ration queues smooth, and lost children found. I told them if they took it, I would say their names on air, and the city would close around them like a vice. They looked at each other and counted heads in the nave. They left without another word. We wrote down their faces and the badges on their hats. The city holds. It holds because we are willing to say no with calm voices and to stand behind that, no with more of us than them. We are going to do a children's block at the top of the next hour. Teachers write a short list of games that do not involve running. Paper airplanes, counting games, drawing maps of the street from memory, building houses out of cards, telling a story around the room 1 sentence at a time. Limit story themes to brave kids, smart dogs, and kitchens that never run out of tea. Keep monsters out of the room for now. The world has enough. Phone again. Tom, it is Gareth, the retired signalman. I have made a small signal lamp from a car headlight and a battery. I will blink messages from my window toward the church if the air kills the radio. Long blink for yes, short blink for no. I can do numbers on my fingers in the glass if we set a code. Gareth, you are the kind of neighbor that forms the spine of a city. We will stop by with a better switch and a flask. I can hear the turbine in my mind even though it is miles away. The idea of it turning in black water and giving us a threat of charge makes the cold sit back a notch. That is not poetry. That is relief with a purpose. Tomorrow, we will string a line to bring the first battery back. We will run the transmitter for 5 minutes on that battery alone and read names of people who fixed things that day. A roll call of competence. One last piece for the night block. If you are lying awake and staring at the ceiling, make tomorrow's list in your head. 1 job for morning, 1 for midday, 1 for afternoon. Small jobs, not grand schemes. Sweep the shared stairs, boil water and fill 3 jars. Check on a name on your street list you have not seen. If you finish early, do not invent drama. Sit by the window, listen to the wind, and keep the radio near. I will be here, jaw aching, voice steady, saying street names and jobs and the sentences that stitch a city together. All right, we are lifting back to full power for 5 minutes to carry the children's block schedule and the bell code one more time. After that, we dim again and hold until dawn. You have done enough for today. More tomorrow. Leeds, stay decent. Sam is waving at me with diesel on his gloves. That means the barrel trickled in and the gauge moved up a finger width. That finger width is this voice tomorrow, and the day after if we keep playing this the right way.